Yep, there it is. Just
Yes. Well, everybody, welcome to Thirsty Thursdays. And as COVID would have it, I'm drinking water. And so is my co-host here that we will see in a minute. But for those of you that don't know us, my name is Urena, and I've been in the multi-servicios or the multi-service business for a long time, starting with I used to work at a general agency and then did marketing, and then I realized I needed to put a retail store together, and I opened one in Van Nuys many moons ago, many decades ago. And once we got started, I realized that I had to open an office every 6 months. That was the only way that I could grow in a way in which the business would be flourishing continuously. And at that time, there wasn't that many Latino-focused insurance agencies. And as time went on, and my dad being a banker, I'm from Costa Rica, we realized that we needed to get some real capital in order to be able to really grow. And so we did that, and then we got started. I want to welcome all of you. We're live from Cielo y Más. It's a karaoke bar, sort of, if you've ever been to a karaoke bar at the Koreatown, K-Town, it's similar, but all Latino. Every room is different. And what's wonderful about it is that one of our founding members of LAPA, Latin American Professional Alliance, we call ourselves LAPA, he has an insurance agency out here in OC, and it's been flourishing, and him and his wife, Lola, started this place, and I think it's franchisable. If you haven't been here, you should be here. It's a lot of fun. It's a great place to come with friends and get a room and just sing to your favorites, or you can just come and have a party with your friends. In these times of COVID, separation is key, and that's one of the reasons why we created Thirsty Thursdays. There is a lot of organizations out there, and including ours, in which we had to sort of slow down on the live events. Even though live events are key, they cannot happen because of COVID. And it's been now 2 years. LAPA, the Latin American Professional Alliance, was created because of COVID. We started, a few of us meeting, and then we realized that there was a need to share information. But more than that, we're not industry specific. We are an organization that is here for the business owners, for those of you that have, whether it's an online or a brick and mortar location. We're here to tell you what's out there, to show you successes, to share failures. And before I get started, I wanted to thank our sponsors, because without them we couldn't be here. Our largest sponsor by far is Chase Bank, as well as we also have DealerTrack. DealerTrack helps you with your registration services. And there is a lot of differences between registration services, and we'll get into that in a little bit. But just wanted to welcome all of you and let you know that we have very, very exciting guests with us today. We wanted to make sure we talked a little bit about insurance, a little bit about tax, and a little bit about real estate. Our membership is not just one industry, it's different industries, it's business owners, it's sharing ideas. It's a business community that we're building, and glad to say that we're now at our first 100 members, and now we're looking forward to bumping that up. We started really 6 months ago, and out of the need of many of us to stay informed with each other and to realize what are those things that are working for some people and what are those things that could be working for some others. Since we started, pandemic has been here, and there's different ways in which our business is now handled, and it will be handled differently from here on out. So if you don't have an online presence, if you don't have the technology or the wherewithal to be able to make appointments, systematically in an online system, and giving the customer the choice of seeing you live if you have a brick and mortar shop, or seeing you online and handling the business that way, that is something that as a business owner you're really responsible for. You're really responsible for delivering that. And so for us, it's all about getting all the different points together, bringing you best practices, and then having our benefits, which, for $95 a year, you get to have us come into your business and take a look at what you have, and then share what others have done, and hopefully we can give you some ideas. Sometimes when you're working in your business very closely, you can't see the things that you got to fix. But thank God, because of our membership and our experience, our common experience, we can point those things right out when we make that first visit to your office, whether it's on Zoom or live. If you are close by, we can do it. We go to your office. Otherwise, we can handle it online. And we go from the entrance of your store, all the signage stuff. We look at everything, look at where you are, look at how else you can get business. I'll give you an example. One of our members out in Vegas, Aztec Insurance, one of the things that she did is she opened a new location this year for taxes. And one of the things that was obvious to us was that she needed to have a mascot. Just like Fiesta Auto does and like everybody else does. Why? Because the mascot is repetition. Kids see it all the time. If you have a brick and mortar shop and if you intend to grow your brand, you need to create your own mascot and keep those kids smiling, because those kids are the ones that are going to continuously tell their parents where to get insurance, taxes, real estate. So mascots are important, but that's just one of the things that we would suggest. There's many other things that you can learn, and there's many other things that you can certainly learn from others, and others, not only successes, but failures. And so in this day and age, it is those that are truly unique and that really grow, and for that you need a plan, and that's where we come in. That's where LAPA comes in. That's where we can help you develop that, and not only develop it, but stay on track to make sure that it happens. So I just wanted to let you know a little bit of what we do. That's just one of the things, but it seems to be the biggest benefit that people have with our organization. And today we're starting Thursdays because there's no other way for us to communicate, other than individually as a group, to share ideas and to talk about things. Today we're going to be covering several things. We're going to be, as I mentioned, we have Tyler Nicholson from Aspire General Insurance here with us. He'll be speaking to us in just a little bit about insurance and what's been going on with him and his company and what he sees, because one of the things that we love about Tyler is he's been everywhere. He knows most of the people out there, because prior to this organization, he worked for a tech company, a Raider, as all of you know, and he knows, and he has sort of the pulse of what others do, and I just find his input very valuable, and I hope you do too. We're also going to be talking to Luisa Alvarez Luna from Luna Tax. She's a proud member and a board member of LAPA. She's a great supporter, and she'll tell you why she likes LAPA and what LAPA has done for her. We're not here to push you at $95 a year. We're here to help you. And the best way for you to really realize the value of what we do is by hearing it from others. And she's literally been doing very well by working with us, and some of the ideas and the contacts and the connections that we've provided. And she's taken that and run with it. And then we will be closing with Damiano Raigoza. Some of you know Damiano. He's a great emotional trainer. He's a business coach, and he's also in real estate along with his wife and mortgages. And all of those things work together, because if you start by just saying, I'm going to open an insurance agency, that used to be okay. But now is, who's my customer base, and what can I provide to those customers in order for them to stay with me and give them value? And on top of that, what can I do to be able to help them with the services that I don't provide? We call that the circle of excellence, and that is the core of LAPA. It is the people that are in our group that are ethical and professional. Those people are ready to help those others that might not know much about real estate, but have customers that need real estate. Ultimately, the only way we're going to grow in the communities that we serve is by being able to provide our customers a way to legacy. And legacy comes from ownership of home. So how does that relate to insurance? How does that relate with taxes? Well, let me take it on the sense of, say, insurance. You might have a customer that you have homeowners with for the last, 3, 4, 5 years, but yet you've never really inquired, about their dwelling. Do they want a bigger house? Are they growing their family? Or are they renting, if they're buying renters from you? Well, what if you were to help those renters, for example, get their own home? That customer will be a customer with you forever. But you don't need to become a real estate agent. You simply have to have somebody that you can rely on, that knows that will not take your customer, that will actually enhance your customer's experience with you. And we can provide that for you. That's why we're multi-service. That's why we're not just one thing. That's why we can't be one thing. There's already organizations that handle industry specific, and we can help you with those same things that they provide. But more than anything, we're a business community, and what we're here to do is give you the opportunity to offer your customer the best overall experience, and ultimately getting them to have some legacy for their children, so that way our next generation can actually be better off. And that's how we lift everybody. Again, our sponsors, Chase Bank, and any of you business owners that need some funding, we can help you. That's why Chase is here. Chase Bank is committed to us and committed to you to be able to give you what you need. And it's not as difficult as you think. Even if you think you don't qualify for a loan, we have a workshop that you can participate, and with Chase, they'll be able to help you lift your credit and get you to the point in which your business can qualify for a loan. Remember, if you're a minority or if you're serving the minority community, there are a lot of opportunity for loans right now due to the pandemic. And so we encourage you to reach out to our organization, www.lapa.work, in order to be able to help. Later on, we'll be speaking also about something that nobody speaks about, because guess what? Until we appeared, there was no organization that addresses and helps the people that do car registration. And I've seen the list. There is thousands of brick and mortar shops that offer car registration. Now, are you with the best one? Are you with the right provider? Some providers are very good, and some are not so good. Some are new and invest in their technology and can save you time, and is a very transparent deal. Some are not. Some are antiquated, and literally they send you statements once a month, and until then you're in the dark. You don't know on a live basis and using advantage of technology what is happening with your registration services business. If you have a brick and mortar shop and you're thinking of creating traffic for your office in California, for example, not all states do registration services, just reach out to us. We can help you set that up. It's not that difficult, and it'll create some much needed foot traffic. Remember that the DMV, because of COVID, most people are trying to avoid. So it's a good service to have, and we'll talk about that a little later. But let's get into the meat and bones of what we're here, even though we're all apart. Hopefully you're paying attention to this. Hopefully we can help in many ways. And one of those ways is let's get an update on what's going on with insurance. So without further ado, let me bring up my buddy Tyler Nicholson, who's here already. We're going to talk a little bit about insurance, and then we'll move on. Thank you for being here again. Those of you that are joining us for the first time, you can look us up at lapa.work, LAPA.work. And come on up, Tyler.
Oh, come on over. All right.
Absolutely.
Oh, there's a chair over here. I didn't see it before.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. So.
Well, thanks for having me, Andre.
Absolutely.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me find you. Maybe. Let's see. Let's put a place with everybody. There we go.
Okay. Cool.
Okay.
So,
how
yeah.
you
Thanks
doing,
for having
man?
me.
Happy New Year.
Yeah. Happy New Year. Cheers with our waters, right?
That's something we haven't done. I don't think ever.
Probably never. Yeah. It's, or had a meeting without anyone physically in front of us. So,
That's right. Yeah. Well, here we are, and I just wanted to, not only say to you that, as time will have it, there's friends that you develop for decades, and we've been that. We look at each other and we think we're still young, but we've been in this business for a long time.
Yeah, I still feel young at times when I don't hurt my shoulder or hurt a knee or something like that, which seems like it happens more and more these days.
Yeah, but let's get started. One of the things that I've seen that happens in insurance is, unlike other industries, is that it's slow in taking in technology. It's slow in assimilating technology, and that's not in all the cases, but it is certainly on a lot of cases, right? What is exciting to me about Aspire is that it's a newer company. Therefore, you started already past a lot of the tech humps, the old legacy systems that companies use. And at the end of the day, it's not about saying, hey, I have the best tech. It's about how can you serve the customer better? How can you make it transparent? How can the agent be able to see the status and fix the status without having to do too many things, right? The least amount of clicks at the end of the day. And I think you guys have that because of being a newer company, but also you have that because of the experience in the team. Tell us a little bit about Aspire and what's going on.
Yeah, so Aspire's been riding in California almost 10 years. Aspire's a carrier and a general agency. In California, we write all on our own paper. So, we're a one-stop shop, in-house claims, insurance carrier paper, B+ rated with a positive outlook, which is almost unheard of when you have a one state, one line of business, that AM Best would give you that rating. So we're very proud of that. And then what you said about not having any legacy systems, right? Just the fact that we haven't been around decades, we're not building on top of all these legacy systems or transferring from legacy systems onto new systems. So we don't have that dragging us down. We have a pretty nimble team as well. So we have people that like to get things done. We have people that want to do new things. So we're pretty fast. We want to roll something out that's going to be the benefit of us, our policyholders, and of course our brokers. So it's like you were saying, it's very it's a lot of fun to do those type of things and not have your hands tied. Now, every carrier and every organization, every general agency, has things that they have to, areas they have to work within. But I would say, with us, I would say there's less red tape. So if there's something we really want to do, and we know that it's going to be the benefit of all three of those parties, we're able to move forward and do those things much faster. Obviously being privately held helps, but then having technology that's not decades old helps as well. But I would say one of the main reasons why insurance, which I've seen insurance takes so long to evolve into other to cutting edge technology is, for example, if you're an agency owner or brokerage and you want to do something different within your brokerage, well, you typically have to connect or get multiple partners to participate, and that's difficult as well because every organization works differently at different speeds. Some will want to do it, some will not want to do it. Some of the ones that want to do it can't do it. So, and then people usually will end up throwing up their hands and say, okay, I'm not even going to do this because it's so difficult to move forward when you have all those different ecosystems you have to live in. So that's one thing that's I think it's the biggest thing that's held insurance back to a lot of cutting edge technology when it's customer facing.
Yeah.
But organizations like ours, we don't have that. It's we have our way of working, and we're able to move forward. And if people want to connect to us and do those cutting edge things, we're happy to facilitate that. So it's exciting to do that, especially right now. There's more of a demand for it. So there's more of a demand for e-signature, for people getting text alerts, for doing paperless billing. In the non-standard space, there wasn't as much of a demand for that as there was in the preferred space. And we're seeing a much higher demand for that in the non-standard space. And we already had all those things before, COVID hit. So we were ready to just keep rolling with it. And it's worked out great.
So business has been better because of COVID? Business has been the same? It has dropped?
We've had a roller coaster a little bit.
Right.
Luckily for us, and these are published results, I would say we performed extremely well in the first year of COVID. We were quick to react, but we were also responsible as well. So we were able to utilize offshore call centers, to keep our service levels up. But we were able to be very friendly to our insureds to keep our business up as well and to keep our retention high. So we're able to do all three of those things at the same time. A lot of people were able to do one or two of them well we nailed all three of them really well. Now, I say what we're in right now is, I guess, a COVID hangover, right?
Yeah.
So, it was great for most insurance companies last year. Even the ones that didn't grow, they still they performed well. But
Right.
now we have so many things that we cannot control. Obviously parts are sitting on a cargo ship. There's not a labor force to fix vehicles. For some reason, used cars are now worth 35 to 50% more than they were 2 years ago.
Who would have crazy.
Who would have known the best investment out there besides cryptocurrency would have been to go buy a bunch of used cars and put them in a garage and sit on them for 2 years, and you would have made 50% on your money.
Absolutely.
So it's things like that are just out of everybody's control, and then people showing up to work as well on a regular basis and not jumping from job to job to job, and this whole talk about the great what do they call it, the great resignation, things like that are hurting massive organizations, and then those organizations are now needing to do things like signing bonuses for entry-level frontline workers,
right,
which they're taking them away now from a lot of our partners and as well as ourselves. So that's and there's even a lot more to it. For example, a lot when people don't talk about is the police officers aren't pulling people over for speeding. And I think everybody's seen that. Even now that the roads are congested, they're still not doing it. Whether it's because of unrest from social justice protest, or the supervisors in these law enforcement organizations saying, "Hey, stay away from the public unless you have to, because of COVID."
How does that represent into claims? Like,
So,
does it affect claims differently?
Well, where I was going, and I'll get to the claims part in a minute. If law enforcement isn't pulling over people that are driving bad and issuing them citations, those people are not being rated properly by insurance companies.
They have a clean record.
They have a clean record, but they're a horrible driver, right? So they're getting a great rate, and they're a horrible driver. And then they crash.
I never thought about that.
Yeah, that's another, and it's actually surcharge points are down across the country.
Wow.
It's not because people are driving better. If anything, they're driving worse. Surcharge points should be up, or down.
Right.
So not only we're not rating the person appropriately, we're not rating their vehicle appropriately because their vehicle is worth more than it was when they bought their policy.
Right.
So there's so many things. And again, the supply chain, the labor force, all of these things factor into that. So if a carrier can't get the right rate, obviously they don't perform well.
Right.
And you're going to see some major players make some tough decisions. They probably already made them, and take some crazy actions in the next few months, if not few days. And it'll be something we really haven't seen, because typically when carriers have trouble, they get raked, and then it becomes a hard market.
Right.
We're not seeing that in California. Other parts of the country we are.
Right.
So if carriers can't get raked, but they, there's all these issues I just talked about, they're going to have to slow down.
Right.
And you're going to see people that don't want to slow down that are slowing down.
What about unused premium returns because of lack of usage of vehicles, or people turning into working remote? Is that happening, or not to a degree that it will offset?
No, it did happen. The Department of Insurance asked companies to do it, and a lot of them did it, and we even participated very generously. And I think that helped our policyholders be happy with us and stay with us to some degree. So there was a benefit on both sides. But in the market that Aspire works in, and in the non-standard market that I was describing, our customers never stop going to work.
Yeah.
If anything, they're working more.
That's right, because they're the first line of defense. They're the essential workers.
They're the fast food workers.
Right.
They never closed.
Right.
They're Walmart. They're Target. They're all these retail operations that never close. They're the people delivering your Amazon packages, or they're in the Amazon plants, or they are working on a farm, or they're processing things, or they're working in a grocery store.
Right.
They were getting overtime. So these people didn't stop working.
Right.
And so, maybe in the preferred market, I'm sure in the preferred market, people might be, if they have a well-to-do family that's got 3 cars and they don't have any kids driving, maybe they turned in 1 car, maybe they turned in 2 cars because both people are working from home and they only need 1. I'm sure that's happening in some places, but in California, especially Southern California, people just love their cars.
Right.
And they're going to drive their cars, and when I talk to insurance companies from other parts of the country, they're blown away when they see that non-standard carriers are insuring new vehicles so often. They're always insuring new vehicles, and they're wondering why we have such a high rate of comp and collision policies and a high rate of new vehicles. And people in California just love cars.
Right.
And they buy cars out of their means, and they work hard to get a nice car. So I don't see a lot of people. I don't know anyone personally that turned in their car.
Right.
People I know actually have bought cars during COVID, including myself, and it's cost us dearly because of the price markup.
Right.
So, all this about premium returns, I think it's just a big media hype, to be honest with you. I think it's irresponsible media coverage.
Yeah.
And it's triggered insureds to call their brokers asking them for money when they didn't have any money coming to them, which is unfortunate.
The customers try to reach you direct asking for that refund?
Oh, and more the brokers. They get through to us once in a while for that. And at least we have something very easy to explain to them because we're talking about one company and we have our set rules.
Right.
But they're calling these brokerages, and I feel bad that they're asking for these refunds, and obviously every carrier they represent has a different rule.
Right.
So they struggle to answer these questions properly. Right. And again, I think it was just extreme irresponsibility on the part of the media for that.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of touch and go with the media because this is so new and so vast, right? And I think that a lot of politicians try to say the right thing, not knowing the business part of it. Now let's get a little bit into the business part of it. We have, some of our members, a lot of our members, the majority of our members are real estate, but we also have, after that, the biggest majority is taxes. And insurance is the third, right? But a lot of the tax people are now people that want to be able to do insurance, right? And so obviously we know that they have to get a license, they have to get an E&O, they have to have experience. But how would a newbie be able to reach out to, say, Aspire and get appointed? What are the steps? What are you looking for? Are you trying to be more in certain areas? They just kind of want to know. And for us, it's important to refer them to those that welcome them, right? Because we're not going to send a tax guy to a preferred company because they have to, first, learn the skill. And a lot of them deal with the non-standard type of business. So what does it take?
So that's a good question. And it really depends on the individual's business plan. So the biggest thing I can say is be prepared when you reach out to a company. You're never going to, and this is for probably every relationship you have, personal and business advice is be prepared, have a plan, talk to someone who's done this before, help them create your plan so that when you have that first interaction and you have that first conversation with the person, you are very well prepared. You have not only just your business plan, but have the marketing part of it. And if you know a particular insurance company is going after a certain type of market, that should be part of your plan, or you shouldn't even be talking to that person.
Right.
So that's I would say one of the most important things, because if you come and say, hey, I just want an appointment, and you say, okay, great, how are you plan to market, and the person can't even fire back with that question, let alone have it written down, you've really hurt yourself already. So be prepared, have a plan, talk amongst your peers or peers that that are in that industry that have done it.
Yeah.
That is extremely important, and be prepared to invest in technology.
Yeah.
I'm not going to give every specific rule that we have, but I'll tell you, if you're not going to be prepared to invest in technology and you're a newer business owner, it will be very hard to get anyone to commit to you.
Right.
Because that's just going to make it seem like it's going to be a sloppy situation. You don't have the experience to keep yourself organized, and if you don't use technology to keep yourself organized, there's going to be a lot of mistakes along the way. And insurance companies right now, they can't afford to be working with people that are destined to make mistakes. Everyone makes a mistake. But if the insurance company or organization that you want to work with knows that you're going to make a lot of mistakes because you're not going to have these two crucial parts, either experience or technology, we would like both. But depending on the individual and business and their plan, we may be willing to say, okay, you know what? If they have a lot of experience, we're not going to be as heavy on them in technology. Or they have really good technology, we'll maybe allow less experience. If you don't have either, it's a guarantee that there's going to be issues that we can't afford to deal with right now.
So drawing on your experience, which is vast, even prior to Aspire, you've dealt with seeing agents from the beginning as they grow bigger and as they make their business successful. Then how are you able to, or what would you recommend, what have you seen of those that are, what have the successful people done other than create the plan, be prepared, get technology, invest in technology, and reach out to your peers, which you can do through LAPA. You can reach out to agents that are experienced and that have been successful. What have you seen? Who becomes successful?
Right. Okay, that's a good question, and I get that question a lot, and people think I'm going to give them a silver bullet and it's going to change their whole life, right? And they're like, okay, what is these agencies doing? What's this guy doing? What's that guy doing? Obviously, I'm not going to give away trade secrets, but the one thing that every successful brokerage that I talk to on a regular basis is doing, and I'll tell you what they are doing, is they're constantly changing. If there's no one lead source that's just gonna, we found this one lead source in our life is changed forever. Absolutely not. Now you might find a great lead source and it might do amazing things for you, but you better be looking for other lead sources while you're dialing in that one and keeping it fine-tuned and nourishing that relationship, whatever it is, whether it's online or face-to-face. You need to continue to be changing. You need to continue to be looking for new things. Think about a football coach, right? You're the football coach of your organization or the general manager. You're constantly watching videos of other teams. You're constantly seeing things that are wrong that you can fix and things you're doing good that you can double down on. That has to always be happening. Even if you're number one in your industry and in your trade, if you're not doing that, somebody else is. They're going to outwork you and take it from you. So you've got to always be working hard. You've got to always be constantly changing to get yourself to the level you want to get to. But when you're there, you can't just sit back and relax. Now, there will be times where you can take nice vacations and enjoy all the things that you've created. And if you have a great team, it'll be easier. But if you take your eye off the ball for a prolonged period of time, someone's there trying to take it from you. Yeah. There's always going to be someone trying to take it from you. I think one quote I heard a long time ago was from Mark Cuban, and he said, work as if there is someone 24 hours a day, 7 days a week trying to take everything from you. Yeah. If you do that, you're going to put up a good fight at least.
Absolutely.
Or at least hopefully keep them off of you. But if you get to a certain point that you're comfortable with and you kind of take a step back, someone's going to come and take it. It might be someone in your own organization.
Right.
It might be one of those lead source that you're working with, and they realize, well, hey, this guy, I'm giving him all the business. I'll just do it myself.
Right.
So you need to continue to change and adapt.
And own the process, right?
And own it, yes.
And the system, right? One of the examples, a good friend of both of us, Mario Luna. Man, Mario's always looking for the next glitch that can give him more leads, that can make the system more automated.
Absolutely.
And he doesn't stop. He now gives himself the luxury of living in Rosarito. I visited him down there recently, and but he's online.
Yep.
His people are online. And he has also done what a lot of successful agents that I've seen nowadays do, which is their customer service gets handled by a customer service center, right? And I've seen that in, for example, Confie, which is my old company. I went to their call center down in Tijuana, and they're the second largest call center in Tijuana, and they service everybody, all kinds of insurance companies, but that's one of the keys of keeping their consistency and their expenses down is doing it somewhere else. Mario Luna handles he has his most of his team down in Guadalajara, and so you got to start thinking that way. If you are going to get into insurance, into auto insurance in particular, is very competitive, and there's a lot of technology and systematic ways to do it, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. And actually we're not foreign from that ourselves. So right. Aspire uses call centers in 2 different parts of the country, or 2 different parts of the world. So we have one in the Philippines and we have one in Peru for bilingual, and they do payments. They do F&OL. You call in and need to give the facts of a loss. It really doesn't matter who you're giving it to, as long as they're a professional person. And we are beyond happy with it. Right. It's I would call it our secret sauce, but I talk about it all the time. It's no secret.
It is.
We tell the people that are regulators. We tell our reinsurance partners. We tell AM Best, and they think it's amazing. And
which is one of the things. Sorry to interrupt. Which is one of the things that I think is one of the biggest fears from the people that I've talked to about having their stuff being remote with the insurance regulations and stuff. But so far, if you keep your salespeople here, and your customer service people can be elsewhere, right?
Absolutely. So we use an organization. We didn't build our own. We did one out of the box, and this is something that anyone can do. This isn't like, oh, I got to go down to Guadalajara and I got to know how to speak Spanish.
No.
I have people that work directly for me in Peru, and I don't speak Spanish.
Right.
So I mean, anyone can do this. It's just you have to go. Now, there's a lot of work involved in it, right? Getting someone up to speed on something might take a little bit longer if they're from a different country, because you got to not only teach them your processes, right, and your business and your culture, but you got to teach them geography, possibly, right, of where you sell in. You got to teach them, just kind of certain slang, certain things your customers are going to be saying. But you know what? Everybody is a human being. It's like what my dad used to tell me as a kid growing up. Police officers are just a human being, just like you and I. Treat them well, they'll treat you well.
Right.
People down in Peru, they're very smart. They're very hardworking. We have people in the Philippines that are extremely smart, extremely hardworking as well. I actually got to go there before COVID and meet the whole team, which was really
awesome.
It was an amazing experience.
Yeah.
And flight was tough, but it was great meeting the team and seeing who's doing our customer service and processing, and they do some underwriting. They do systems testing. We even have some people that help product manager as like a junior analyst.
Right.
We have claims FNOL. I have to really think hard, but I don't think there's a department within our organization that doesn't use some form of outsourcing right now.
Oh wow, including claims.
Claims does a lot for FNOL.
Oh wow.
So if you want to call Aspire and report a claim, someone in the Philippines or Peru will answer the phone, which makes them answer the phone quickly, which is what you want.
Right.
English and in Spanish. We get about 45% of our incoming calls for claims are in Spanish, and that queue is usually less time than the English queue. Some people think, oh, I'll push English and I'll get through faster.
Yeah.
Push Spanish, you're probably going to get through faster.
That's pretty cool. 45% of your business is Spanish, or the claims,
Our
or the claims.
FNOL on claims.
Oh,
Close
wow.
to that, yeah. I mean, it's a lot. So,
Wow.
utilizing a call center is extremely important. I mean, I would be happy to talk to anybody who's listening right now or watching, or however you're getting this information, maybe reading it on a telegraph. I don't know how all the technology works on podcasts, but
Right.
if you wanted to reach out to me to understand what the process is to get started with like a third-party organization where you don't have to go move down to Guadalajara for 6 months or move to the Philippines, I'm happy to help people with that, because I would say it allows us, let's have an example here. Let's say a big insurance company decides just to stop writing business tomorrow, right?
Right.
Which is possible.
It has happened.
It's happened about 5 times since I've worked at Aspire. So right now it's hard to get labor, right? It's hard to get skilled labor. It's hard to get people that want to show up on a regular basis.
Yeah.
So we would love to take the business, but if we don't have people to answer the phones, to service the policies, and to handle the claims, or at least the FNOL, we would say, oh, you know what, well, we won't take as much as we'd like. And we try to tell our brokers, hey, we only want this much, we don't want that much. We know that I can go hire 10 customer service people in the next month.
Right.
I don't think there's anyone that's listening to this right now that can go hire 10 customer service people next month.
Right.
It would take a long time. We would
Right.
be able to hire 10 customer service people that would report through our same organization, that we'd feel very confident, that would have some college education, whether we wanted bilingual or English, we would have the pick of each one. So that is huge. Once you go through the growing pains of working with an outsourced company or you do it yourself, the instant scalability is kind of like that. Thing that you would never think that was there. It's more about, let's save money, let's save time hiring, let's make sure that we have people there when we need them, let's get skilled people. And I want to stress the skill level is I would say is about the same as it is in the US for frontline workers. But the scalability quickly, if I needed 2 people in marketing, I'd have them hired in about a month. Maybe less, maybe 2 weeks. Just
Right.
depends on what's going on.
And what, they'll do Zoom visits?
They can do Zoom visits, they can do emails, they can do calls. I mean, most marketing right now, people are just calling for help. We're
Sure.
not asking to come to the office and hang out.
Yeah.
They can
As
do
Latinos,
administrative
though,
tasks.
as you know, as Latinos, even though it's COVID,
They still want people there, yes.
Yeah, we always want the relationship, you know.
Oh yeah,
you
so
know?
we have an outside team and we have an inside team now,
Yeah,
which is great. We have the best of both worlds. But for customer service, obviously that's all over the phone.
What's your sweet spot? If you were to say for the company, what kind of business do you want?
For us,
What is it that you are designed to get?
Oh, let's say, this is what we say around the office, and I say to a lot of our brokers, is we want to economically challenge people that still want a good experience, but don't have a lot of assets to protect, so they don't need high limits, right? Maybe they got a DUI, maybe they got an accident, maybe they got a few tickets. They got a decent car, and they want to be able to get a hold of their carrier when they need them, whether it's for roadside or claim or customer service, or they want their paperless billing, or they want text alerts, right? They're a productive member of society, and they just want a good experience. But they don't have assets to protect. So a homeowner with 4 cars, that's probably not our person that we're going to want. Because they want state minimum. We're not looking for high value vehicles or very young drivers. We want that, if they're 21 to 65 and they're driving a car that's worth $15,000 to $40,000, that's our guy. And I think a lot of people want that, but a lot of people advertise, we'll take anybody.
Right.
But that's not what we're looking to do. We just want to do a good job, be able to service them well, and do it consistently.
Awesome. And where is Aspire going? Are you going to get into other areas of insurance? Are you going to stay only on auto? Is that the ethos of the company, to do just one thing and do it well? You tell me.
Absolutely. So we want to be the in and out of non-standard auto, to just make it simple. Not just because the experience is great and it's quality organization. There's a lot of things about in and out, right? What you see is what you get. They're transparent. They make things right. They have a good partnership. They're privately owned. They don't franchise out to. They're not owned by stockholders. So
right.
There's a lot what that means. But we do want to go into other states. So you'll see us go into 1 or 2 states this year.
Arizona, Nevada.
Arizona is a plan. We haven't done a filing, but that's on the plan that I can talk about. The other state I don't want to say anything because it'll be jumping the gun.
Yeah,
but
Texas will be a big cake to take.
Texas would be great.
Yeah.
And we're not going out there trying to change the world.
Right.
We're trying to go out there and carve out our piece of that cake and do it right and know that we can do a good job, and we know that we can hire the right people to service the customers and the brokers.
I really have not, because of COVID, I really have not heard much. How's market availability? How are carriers out there and reinsurance treaties out there right now? Or is it the worst time, or is it a good time for you guys to develop more programs?
That's a good point. Well, we have a great relationship with our partners. I think they're happy with what we're doing. So we have the ability to go into other states.
Right.
It just depends on who you are and your track record, I guess. Sure. If you're a brand new organization or someone who has never done auto, it might be tough, right? Because there's a lot of uncertainties. But I think we've proven that we're a quality shop, and we don't hide things. If someone asks us a question, we give them the answer.
How long does it take to get an appointment? And this is a loaded question because I have somebody in your pile that truly qualifies for, and I'm not going to name names, but he's like, "Oh, Andre, you're going to see? Well, ask him when am I going to get off the pile?"
Okay, so the turnaround, it can be quick, right? If it's someone that obviously we're soliciting, it might be faster. If it's somebody that is very easy to see what's going on within their organization, it could be faster. But if there's a lot of work that we have to do, whether it's from a compliance side or the marketing side, it could be slower. So that's something it's hard to say because it depends on the person who's trying to get the appointment. What I can say is I'd be happy for you to give him my phone number after this, and he can give me a call. And we can figure out what the holdup is.
Absolutely.
We are not understaffed when it comes to appointments. I saw someone get appointed in a week the other day.
Okay.
Compliance had time to do it, and everything checked out, and there was a lot of back and forth.
Yeah.
And it was someone who qualified, so it went fast.
So you're actively seeking qualified producers for your
Absolutely.
organization.
We're always willing to talk to somebody and see if it's going to be a good fit for the two of us.
Right.
We don't have a moratorium, no new appointments. You're never going to hear that from our organization.
But you're not in a COVID mode in which, like, for example, it's hard to reach any marketing department in most insurance companies. I know that personally because I've been reaching out to let them know about LAPA, and there's nobody. In fact, as we both recently were in the desert for the big convention. Companies actually paid and didn't show up, and didn't have any marketing people show up.
Very true.
And big organizations, which is what surprised me, right?
Very true.
I
I don't want to go too far into my opinion on all of that, but I'll say I get humored by it from time to time, seeing what some of these large organizations do, and you know, they have a lot of exposure.
Right.
They're big. They're publicly traded.
Right.
So they may side on caution.
Right.
But you know, that's one thing is, you know, with us, we try to use our best judgment and do things the right way, whether it comes to the way we run our business or where it comes to how we interact with our brokers. I don't think we just do things because we're told to do things, right? We're not going to do something because the news told us to do it or because somebody gave a press conference and says that. We're going to look into it and make sure it's the right thing to do. And then we're going to go with what we think is right.
Well, that's pretty cool. I thank you for your time. I thank you for being our first Thirsty Thursdays as we're cheering in a bar with water. Not that there isn't any booze out there, but here we are.
It would have been cool to get a bet on that, right? I mean, the oddball would have got some good odds.
I think now I've been so, like everybody, affected by COVID that would you believe it that I am like going so all this month, just as
Really?
on everything, you know. I'm even becoming celibate, man, because you know you think it gives you time to think, right?
Yeah, right.
And then when you go through that process of thinking, you're like, hey, when was the last time that I really didn't need anything to keep me going, right?
No, that's good. It helps you clear yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, I try to not drink any alcohol during the week unless it's a special occasion or there's actually some reason to do it. It's and even during the weekend, maybe one night is enough for me these days. I mean, I guess when we're talking about getting old, maybe that's a sign of it.
Maybe that's a sign, and those people that are younger are going, these guys are old.
Right. My God.
I'm older than him, so he still has. But it's just different, and everything is different, and the changes that have happened and that continue to happen. The fact that there is no employees, the fact that a lot of people are out there struggling with trying to keep their old system. You can't be in the old system. If you stay in the old system, your book of business is going to dwindle, and your customers are going to leave you because the customers want everything on the phone. They want to be able to get things done now and simple.
Well, I heard some brokers when things were starting to shut down, they were scared to open their office because they didn't know if they were allowed to open their office. They finally found out they could, but while they were scared to open it because of regulations they were unsure of, they couldn't give any quotes from their house.
Yeah.
Because they didn't have a system they can access from their house.
That's amazing.
Which blew me away. I think anyone who's in this organization, when I talked about technology before, when some people say, what system should I buy? I say, you know what, you should buy whatever system that you can have a Chromebook and be at Starbucks and run your business from.
Right.
If it was me starting a business today, I would not buy a system that I couldn't run off of a Chromebook from a Starbucks if I had to. Would I be running my business from Starbucks? No.
Right.
But if I had to, I could.
Right.
And so whatever those systems are that met my needs, that's where I would go. I would not be buying one. I mean, our organization, we don't even have a fax machine at our office, believe it or not. We don't even have one.
Yeah.
You can't find a fax number to fax us. You can fax our claims because obviously lawyers need to, but within the GA organization, claims as part of the company, can't even send us a fax. We don't even know how to send a fax out. Someone asked the other day, there was a young kid at the office, he's like, so what is a fax machine? And so I went out to the floor and I came out of my office and I explained to them the whole process of what a fax machine was. It was funny. And people's heads started popping up out of their cubicles. They were like, I want to know what a fax machine is. And I ended up having 3 or 4 people surrounding me as I was telling them what a fax machine was. And at the end of the thing, the guy was like, oh, so like what they do in the movies. it was nuts. I couldn't believe it. But yeah, we don't even have one. We have one printer, and that's kind of, it rarely gets used.
Yeah.
Outsource the mail. We have no servers. Everything's web-based. I mean, it's the way to go. If a fire happened, we have 2 offices in California. If a fire happened, took out either one of them, our organization would be completely fine, except for the people that couldn't come to work that day.
Wow, that's awesome. Well, man, thanks for your time. I'm glad that you were my first guest on this new
me too.
Thirsty Thursdays. Yeah, we're looking forward, already confirmed for next week. We have Alex Perez coming to speak to us from Century about technology and about their CRM. And we're going to obviously be continuing to doing this. I want to thank you for being here. And, we will post his contact information and his office information as well. And those of you that are interested in really having a company that is there for the customers you actually do serve, which are the people that are in the front lines, as we were speaking earlier, the essential workers. Aspire is definitely a choice, and they're alive and they'll answer the phone.
Absolutely.
Thanks, buddy.
My
Thanks for
pleasure.
being here, man.
Thanks so much for having me. That was fun.
Absolutely. Say hi to the boss, Byron.
course.
And
Absolutely.
thank you for everything, man.
Yep. Thanks
All
for
right. Yeah. Now let's gonna move on a little bit. For those of you that are joining us right now, we just talked a little bit about insurance with Tyler Nicholson, and next is Luisa. So Luisa with taxes. Luisa, are you out there? Oh, yes, she is. How are you? Good. She's coming in all the way from Victorville to be with us today. And and here's Miguel as well. So come on up, Luisa. We've been talking about insurance. Now we're gonna talk about it's a party out there because we're in cielo. And we're gonna.
Where am I looking at? Where am I looking at?
We're looking at right here. Okay. We have many things going, but here's Luisa. So Luisa, we were just talking about a lot of different things about multi-services, and then we were also talking about insurance. And now, tax season is here. You know it better than anybody. And, I just want to tell you guys, Luisa has been one of our really active partners with Lapa. She's been a person that really has inspired me about what this organization can do, because, and we'll talk about that a little later, because one of the things that I admire that I've seen is the process in which she came in knowing nothing about certain things about insurance, saw the opportunity within our organization, and has been thriving now on a second service, which is life insurance. But first, let's talk about her core business, and you can also, podemos hablar en español también. So in case, I don't know who's our audience right now, but si necesitas algo en español, dale.
Yeah, are we in Lapa or on the live on Lapa?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, oh, okay.
Yeah, we're live on Lapa on the this is Thursdays, and before we get started, once again, I want to make sure that you know that you can join our organization by just $95 a year, and we come out and see you, just like we went to see Luisa about 6 months ago.
Yeah.
And she's grown so much since. So Luisa, what's in your mind first of all when it comes to what is your biggest worry right now about tax season?
About tax season is that a lot of people are going to be confused, and they're going to be like, what do I do? Where do I go? Especially with everything that is happening right now with the pandemic. I mean, we thought that the pandemic, it was going to be something that it was just going to be here for a few months, but no, right? It's one of those things that,
years.
Yes, that it's now here to stay. So with that being said, we know that they're being given advance payments to families that have little ones. So the family payments that are being given is $250, $300 a month since the month of July. It was just an assistance to help people with the pandemic that were struggling with money.
Right.
So one of the things that worries me a lot, and not only me, and I've been preparing my tax return since the month of August because of this same reason. They've been on training for all these months because we're preparing for our clients that they're not going to know how this advanced child payment works. I don't know if you're familiar with this, Andrea, but the advanced child payment, like I said, it was money that it was advanced to the taxpayers. Right. $250, $300 a month. So now a lot of people are getting it when they're not supposed to be getting it.
Okay.
So what is going to happen is that now they're going to have to repay it back.
Wow.
When they do their taxes.
Wow.
And
so you're going to be the bad guy.
Yes. So as it is, the economy, how it is, inflation, people losing jobs.
Right.
So how are we going to tell these clients, hey, you have to pay this money back? You're used to getting a refund, but now you owe money.
Oh, that's
so that's one of my biggest concerns, especially this tax season. And let's not even talk about that IRS is so behind on their work.
Yeah, I was just yesterday I was reading in the Wall Street Journal that if you are doing a paper return, you will be stuck for a while. You have to. try to do, according to this article that I read, you have to try to do everything in the system, because if you don't do it in the system, if there's like, let's say the IRS knows you as Jose Pablo and you're Pablo Jose, you better be Jose Pablo, because otherwise it's going to get stuck, and they're still behind responding from the things of last year. So just like us, just like everybody else, they're having problems with the people, with having enough people to work for them. So therefore, if you don't do this systematic and use technology to the best of your ability, your customers might get stuck.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So you have to be, like you said, you have to be very careful when you file taxes. You have to utilize the electronic transmission as much as possible. There's cases where it's impossible to send them electronically, so you have to send them by mail. So those are the ones that you say they're going to take forever. And also, if you send something like last year, we were struggling with people that were claiming the stimulus payment that they were not receiving.
Right.
So we were helping them claim that stimulus, and those take forever to be processed. And there's so many things that you can do now as a tax preparer to help your client get a little bit more money, a bigger refund. However, when we help them, it's new credits. So the software, the IRS e-filing system, it's a system that they just built, that they're
Right,
trying
it's
to
new.
do. So it's new, it's a new credit.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's working perfectly like other years, like the regular credits. Now everything is new. So that's why it's like clients from last year, they're still waiting to get their refund. So that's what it's scary. Like there's a lot of things. I mean, not to scare our taxpayers or our clients, but it's one of those seasons that I tell clients, like, I know before it was okay, go to do it on your own, do TurboTax, do this, it was okay. I was even telling my clients, hey, if you have a simple W-2, only one job, I mean, you don't have to pay anyone. If you have the knowledge, you can pretty much do it yourself, right?
Right.
But this tax season is not the year. This year is not the year for you to go and try to do it yourself.
Right. And there's another thing that really scares me because 1099K is within us. 1099K. And that is, I don't know how they're going to handle it, how precise are they going to be on it or not. But 1099K is an issue because you have a lot of people that use cash apps, to pay each other. There's also, like, I don't know, I don't gamble, but I know that there's a lot of people that gamble in, say, video poker. And then they receive winnings and they send winnings. And is all this stuff going to be now, taxable? Now, are you going to, like, have the IRS, like, on you for anything over $600? Have you thought about that? I mean, that's what, to me, is like, is now what it used to be that people could send money to buy Bitcoin and that kind of stuff. These are larger amounts, well over $600. So what do you think is going to happen? How do you think it's going to be handled?
It's gonna be. That's one of the things that people are also scared. And if you allow me a minute, I'm just gonna go live on my page right here.
Absolutely. Here, let's put it on this. That way,
okay, perfect. So just,
that way you can have it there.
Let me see if I'm able to. How do I do it?
Oh, reverse? No, you have to do it like that. Never mind. Let's use. You can, but it will be horizontal.
Will be like this.
Yeah.
Pero no se puede, ¿verdad? No.
Is it better? Yeah, I'll put it up for you while we talk about 10Ks. So
is it gonna switch the screen or no?
I think it will give you a horizontal part of
All
it.
right, let me see.
So see, we're all learning about technology.
Yeah. See, you rotate your phone while recording. That's what it says, that I need to rotate my phone. Okay, yeah, we tried this one. Do you want to help me remove it?
Yeah.
Just so we can.
There you
go. Can I use that so I can stand the phone like this?
Yeah.
So, now like this. Okay. There, I did it.
There we go.
So there. Okay. So
All
now,
right.
okay,
All right.
we're back. We're back.
Let's go back. The scary part for me, 1099K. This is a new thing. A lot of people use cash apps without regard of the tax consequences. And I think for the first time, the IRS is actually paying attention. They're going to make a boatload of money because a lot of this money goes untaxed.
Yes.
And now this is different. So what would you suggest? What do you think about the 1099K?
The 1099K and those $600 that a lot of people are scared that they're going to be reporting, right?
Right.
So the first thing that everyone needs to know, all the taxpayers, you guys need to know that this is barely starting this year. This is effective January 1st.
Okay, so you want to affect the taxes that they're filing right now.
So it will not affect your taxes for this year. It will affect your taxes for next year.
Okay.
So it's a law that enter into effect, but effective January 1st of 2022. A lot of people are calling our offices and they're saying like, what are we gonna do? How much is it gonna be reported? How much is not gonna be reported? So it's not gonna be until next year that you're gonna have to report the income that you are, if you're receiving more than $600 on Cash App sale. The other thing, the second thing that taxpayers needs to know is that it's only going to affect business accounts. So if you transfer money on your personal accounts from your family members, your kids, like me, I have adult kids and I send them money here and there.
Right.
They're not going to look into it. They don't care.
Right.
They just want to know people that have business accounts. And if you have a business account also with Cash Apps, Venmo, Zelle, all of those new things that we have to pay, they're going to tax you on that money. If you make transactions of more than $600, next year you're going to be receiving a 1099K.
Right.
And it must be reported on your taxes.
Wow.
So there's nothing to worry about this year. Just know that you are going to be required to report this income next year. Now, let's get this straight. And I was also talking to my clients the other day on my Facebook Live in Spanish.
Yeah.
That I was telling them, this is nothing new. A lot of people are like, oh no, they're going to do this. However, we are supposed to report every single dollar that we get on a business.
Right.
So we were just on the reporting.
Right.
And if we underreport, we're not in compliance with the IRS, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So
That's what's been happening. But now I think they're going to bring the hammer down. And so good thing that you have one more year, but you better have a good person like Luisa to help you with your taxes, because Cash App and Venmo and all those things you use, anything over $600 in 2022, I'm glad you cleared that up because it's important to know that we still got time, you know. But yeah, you have to be able to be involved enough to know and be aware, what are you moving, when are you moving that money, because you're gonna have those answers eventually. So now let's talk a lot about something more fun. Let's talk about, because people relate to stories, right? And business owners relate to stories. So why did you get into taxes? How did you end up going into taxes? And how long ago?
I don't even know. I don't like taxes. Who likes taxes, right?
Right.
So I got into taxes. I'm going in 16 years.
Wow.
And
So you were what, 2?
yes, you're right.
For those of you that don't know, I mean, Luisa, she has a strong family. She has a lot of children and a lot of people to support. That doesn't mean that she just sits on her laurels. She has a lot of people to support, and she supports them very well. I was very impressed when I went to her office, and I'm like, what? How many? And she's a true mother. And 16 years in taxes. You
Yes.
started working for somebody, or how did you start it?
You know what? I started doing taxes 16 years ago. I remember me going to one of my friends that I'm thankful with her forever and ever, because I went to do my taxes, and I asked her, hey, how do you do that? How do you call it that you're doing? Because I was just there because I was new coming to this country, and I didn't even know that you had to do taxes. It wasn't like a thing for me in Mexico, obviously.
Right.
So then I asked her, and she's like, oh, I just have to do this. Go take your course. Go take the course. I'm gonna help you. So then she helped me. She told me where to go, and I took the classes, and I started on my own. I went on my own the first year, and I was in this small office, just renting a desk, and I didn't even know what I was doing. I was just like, I'm just gonna pretend that I know. I'm really good at it. I'm pretending that I know, but I didn't know nothing. And I remember, I don't know if you remember, Andre, Back in the days, we didn't have Messenger. We had that instant messenger
Yeah,
on the computer.
I was just talking to Tyler about faxes. We used to do fax binding. I mean, like, yeah, we had Thomas guides.
Yeah.
We had a phone directory which is like printing out the internet. It was that thick, right? So there's a lot of abilities now. But yeah, when you started, it was paper, right?
Yeah, it was. Yeah. So then I was messaging. I remember having the client in front of me, and and they will ask me something, and I will be like, oh, I don't know, and I will message my friend, and she will reply to me right away. And I'm super thankful to her because she was there for me, even though she was a tax preparer, already tax professional, that she was always super busy.
Yeah.
That she always had that time to help me.
Yeah.
So that's how I started 16 years ago. And then
So if you, sorry to interrupt, but if you wanted to start in taxes today, the best way is to be mentored by somebody.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, I would recommend.
Work for somebody.
Yes, we actually have classes every year.
I saw your Facebook Live yesterday, man. You use it. What do you look for in a person that you want? What is a good candidate to do tax preparing?
And I'm going to tell you this in Spanish because I like how it sounds better in Spanish.
Okay.
Solo busco una persona que tenga ganas de superarse. That's it.
Eso es cierto. Sí,
Darle la oportunidad a alguna persona que de verdad quiera hacer algo por ellos mismos, algo diferente.
Yeah.
Doing taxes, you don't have to have a degree. You don't have to go have your college. You don't have to even have high school.
Right.
Your high school diploma. So in reality, for me, it's a great opportunity for someone that really wants to do better for themselves, and they really want an opportunity to come into an office environment, not working on fast food, not working on construction, and something that we are pretty much seen because we are Hispanic. We have to work in construction area. We have to be the landscapers, and I wanted to change that. I want to change the way that people see us. So that's what I like to help people, that they don't even have, they never thought that they were going to be able to have an office job.
Right.
And to dream that they can do more.
Absolutely.
So if you ask me what I look for, just that. I was just sharing with Damiano. Yes, I was just sharing with Damiano right now. The last year, our office, it was a small group of, we had 2 offices, and it was just 4 of us. It was 1, 2, 3, 4 of us in the main office in Victorville, and then it was 2 in the Hesperia office. And seeing this year that now we are a group of like about 30, 32.
Whoa, wow. You went from 4 to 32.
So
Congrats.
I was just like, oh my God, I'm so nervous. I don't know. I don't even know how I'm going to make payroll, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. It's scary.
Yeah.
But it's great. And you know what? The greatest thing that all of the new tax preparers that I have, I've been preparing them since August. So they've been in training, constant training since then.
Yeah.
And all of them are people that didn't have experience.
Uh-huh.
That they come from working from a warehouse, fast food.
Yeah.
And all of them are so happy, so thankful that we're giving them an opportunity to do something different for themselves.
Yeah.
And at the same time for their kids.
That's
their
awesome.
legacy.
That's
so
awesome.
They're changing their life, but not only theirs. They're changing their life of their families.
Yeah.
Their kids, their grandkids. So that for me, it pays me more than money. Like
Right.
I always say that. Like it's.
I was amazed when I went and saw that big training space that you have now in Victorville, and I'm like, man, this is a big room. I hope she can feel it, and you have been feeling it.
Yeah.
And 33 people. So now this 32 people. So now you're going from 2 locations to you still going to just do 2 locations?
We have 2 locations, and then we have 4 this year. 4.
4.
We have Hesperia, Victorville, Adelanto, and then we're opening another one in Apple Valley.
Oh, man.
It's about to be ready.
So
They just sent me a video right now how it looks on the inside, and I wanted to cry.
oh,
my God.
congratulations!
Yeah.
That's great.
Thank you.
It's great to hear. Now let's talk a little bit about your transition, because I guess this year you've done a lot of changes.
Yes.
A lot of changes, because I mean, like you went into doing working with PHP. That's, for those of you that don't know, that's people helping people. and we have several members even in part of our board that do life insurance. And there's ways to do life insurance, but the way PHP does it is have high energy. And I've seen you you saw that at Lapa. You connected with, which is one of the things we do is connections, and then it just took off for you. And I see that you now are a strong producer, and so is Miguel, and I see you guys just growing that as well. So how do you see your tax customers being able to, are you able to make that transition and have them buy life insurance from you? Because I think that the biggest opportunity for having your customer do other things is when they have the trust that you're doing their taxes. You have all their information, right? So to me, it's like the first job I ever had, one of the first jobs I ever had in the United States was selling shoes, right? And I used to work for this Jewish guy that used to sell me, don't sell shoes without shoe trees, right? And the shoe trees is what the tax people forget. They just do taxes. And it's like, you have an opportunity to offer these people, even if you don't do real estate, for example, we'll get into that with Damiano in a little bit, you have an opportunity to give them a legacy. And you spoke about legacy to your employees, but there's also an opportunity to give your customers something else, like we were talking the other day, leaving trusts, doing things that they actually need, but they don't know they need. Helping them say, if they already have a home, try to get a rental property and create that legacy, go beyond. So I think this year, life insurance for any tax people should be an easier thing. They already have the information. They have the trust and confidence of the customer, and people are dying all around us. So I just see it as a perfect mix. What first of all, what interested you about going to life insurance? That's I guess one of the bigger questions, because a lot of tax people are just monoline and that's all they do, and they should be doing other things, right?
Thank you, Andre. Yeah, one of the things like you said is like we already had the clients with us, we already earned their trust, right? Because that's something that you have to earn. It just doesn't, you just don't get it just like nothing, right? So I joined the life insurance business, the financial services industry, because of the same reason. I saw the need that my clients had.
Right.
So knowing that what interested me more is doing as saving them a little bit of money on their taxes, because as we know, we all have to pay taxes on everything, right?
Right.
So last year, because of the same reason, because of COVID, I experienced clients pulling out their 401k money, not knowing that they were going to have to pay taxes on it. They thought that it was tax-free because they saw it on the news.
Right.
Saying like, oh, you're not going to have to pay anything, pull out your money, pull out your retirement account, you'll be fine. And then I had people come into my office saying, Luisa, I pull out my retirement 401k, I pull out 200k, and then I would tell them, okay, what are you gonna do with the money? And they were like, oh, I don't know, I just have it under my mattress, debajo del colchón, right? What am I gonna do? And I was like, you need to do something with the money. And then two things. One, they didn't know that the answer that they gave me. I asked them, why did you pull out the money? And they were scared that they were going to lose their money, right? Because it was in the market. So then they didn't know that they had to pay taxes. They thought that it was tax-free. And I told them, no. The only thing that they forgive for 2020, it was the penalty to withdraw. It was only 10%, but not the tax. So you still need to pay taxes on it. So imagine people coming to us, pulling 200K. Now you had to tell them you had to pay like an average of $12,000 back to the IRS, $18,000 back to the IRS. And they're like, what are you talking about? They told me that it was going to be free. And I'm like, no, what free? No, it's just a penalty. You are avoiding the penalty, but not the taxes. Yeah. So then, obviously, because people didn't know.
Right.
So now when they presented me the opportunity of financial services, I was like, because they were asking me, where do I put my money, Luisa? What do I do? What can I do with it? And I'll be like, I don't know, just don't. I'm not the person to ask, because I didn't know how to tell had to where to send them or who to refer them to, right? So now they presented me with the opportunity for financial services, life insurance, and now that we're able, now I know that they could, instead of pulling out the money, they could just roll it over the 401k to the 401k that they would not participate in the losses, and then not only that, knowing that now if they pull out their money, now where to invest that money. So I saw the need of my clients when it comes to money part. So that's why we do financial services, and we decided to do financial services as another service in a tax office. But when it comes to life insurance, I'm one of the persons that believes that everyone should have life insurance. Life insurance should be mandatory. You know, like car insurance is mandatory by law. I think that life insurance should be one of those. Why? Because it's so inexpensive. And I was the person thinking that Latinos didn't want to buy life insurance because they were thinking that they were going to buy
The Sancho.
el Sancho o la muerte, ¿verdad? Pero I'm surprised now. I'm amazed because our clients, our Latino community, because our offices, we serve everyone, but the majority of our clients are Latinos, right? Immigrants and second generation, obviously.
Right.
But now that I talk to them and I present them with the life insurance, and I explain to them what it is, 9 out of 10 of my clients, they get it.
Yeah.
It's just they're like, yeah, Luisa, where do I sign up for it? What do I have to do? And it's crazy because they even want to pay me for the service.
Wow.
I'm like, no, you don't need to pay me. They're like, yeah, Luisa, you just put a plan in place for me.
That's
I'm
cool.
so thankful to you because you opened my eyes on this, and how much do I owe you? And I'm like, no, you don't have to pay me. The company is paying me. So that for me is more rewarding than like I said before, the actual money. So now that changed my perspective of us as Latinos, that we didn't want to buy the life insurance because we thought that it was for the Sancho or for the, or that we we're going to buy the La Muerte, ¿verdad? Now I know that it was because no one ever told them.
Right.
No one ever presented them with an opportunity to buy life insurance. They are under the impression that life insurance is expensive.
Right.
And life insurance, you can buy life insurance for $20 a month.
Right.
Like
Right.
it's ridiculous, and especially right now in these times when you, like you're saying, people are dying because of COVID.
Right.
People are dying,
And they're left with nothing.
They're left with nothing.
Yeah.
And I mean, I was affected by that. So I don't take this I take this very serious. My dad passed because of COVID.
I remember.
Back in September.
Yeah.
So I was affected by this pandemic. So I take this very serious. And that's what I tell my clients. What is going to happen if you pass today?
Right.
What is going to happen if you contract COVID?
Right.
What is it going to happen? And then the new life type of insurance that has the living benefits, it's even greater. I mean, you have life insurance in case something happens to you, but you're also protected if you become ill, seriously ill.
Yeah.
You have money where you can access, offer a low monthly cost that you can pay.
So selfishly, I want to thank you because you helped the organization grow. The other day, you went out on behalf of us to speak at Don Antonio Nava's seminar
Yeah.
on taxes over in Vegas, and I really appreciate you and Miguel going. But what I appreciate the most out of that is because you did it willingly, and you did it, and you saw the value in it. What's the value on being part of LAPA? This is selfish, I know, but what is the value to you?
So the value, everyone, okay? So if you're in business, you have to be part of LAPA. That's all I have to say. Actually, Señor Antonio Nava, he is the one that told, because I went and talked to him. For those of you that don't know Antonio Nava, he is a very important person when it comes to taxes. He's a very educated man on taxes, and he's very successful. So I see him as my mentor for taxes. So when I wanted to grow my offices, he was the first person that I went to, and I asked him on advice on how to grow my business and what would be the right way to go, right? And he reached out to me and he told me, Luisa, Andre was my mentor back in the days.
Oh, wow.
That's what he told me. I started with him. We did a lot of things together.
We did.
And if you really want to be successful in your business, if you want to be with someone that can help you, you have to go to this meeting. And it was the first meeting for Lapa.
Oh, wow.
It was the first meeting that
That's how you. That,
yes.
I didn't even know that. I didn't know how she showed up and Miguel showed up to our first meeting. But now we can talk about that meeting. That meeting was from 1 to 7 p.m. It was when COVID, we didn't know what was going on with COVID. And on top of that, it was hot. And
No AC.
No, we had no AC because we had to do it in a warehouse because we couldn't get an actual hotel to give us a room because of COVID. And so you came to the first one, you stuck around, and I am glad that you actually have had a lot of benefit by being part of us, but I appreciate it, and I want people to know that we exist. We're for business owners. We're here to help you with that next step, because as Tyler said earlier, if we don't continuously change and challenge ourselves, we will be left behind, especially in the next 20 years, or sorry, the next 10 years. Technology is going to grow faster than it has in the last 100. So you have to be able to be willing as a business owner to continuously change. And that's what we're trying to do here. And I'm glad that, you're the kind of member we envisioned when we started. And I appreciate all you do with us on the actual board. And any other words you want to say out there for insurance agents, real estate agents, tax people? What should they be looking out for?
Any like I said, any business that is listening out there, any business owner, if you want to grow I'm just going to give you the advice that they gave me one time, and I just listened to it because I'm very coachable when it comes to business.
But you used it. You used it too. A lot of people listen and they just
that's what you have to be. I think that's the key word. You have to be coachable. A lot of people tell you like, oh, I want to grow my business. I want to be a business owner. I want to become self-employed. I want to become my own boss. But they think that they're going to be able to do it on their own with your own ideas. And sometimes you need someone else, another set of eyes to look at your business, or to sit with you and just process. Just process one idea or two that you have. And sometimes we are very egocentric, selfish, that's what you said, egocentric. And we think that everything that we think is reality, right? Sometimes you need somebody else to tell you or to help you a little bit. And that's what Lapa is here for. And that's one of the biggest things that I see on Lapa, that they're here sincere to help you, to bring you a hand. And I think the problem is not the organizations. I think the problem is us. Because we don't believe that there's people out there that still want to help you.
Right.
So Lapa is one of those organizations that is going to help you grow your business and take it to your next level and make those connections with other people. Like you guys probably think that, oh, it's just Andre and Luisa. It's a lot of us that are here. And we all talk about business, how we can make it better, how we can grow, and how we can market better with the Latino community. So join us with Lapa, here with Andre. If you want to say something else before I say bye on my live.
It's only $95 a year. That's it. And if you're a company, you better come and start working with us. Chase Bank is one of our sponsors. Also, Dealer Track, which is for registration services. And there is a lot of other companies that are participating, but we want more company participation on our organization. We have people already. We have business leaders that are eager to hear from you. So join Lapa. And with that, I want to thank you for being here.
So tax deductible.
Oh, yeah,
Tax
that's another selling point. It's tax deductible.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for being here, Lisa. Bye-bye.
Bye.
And so next, we're going to talk to a guy that I have spent so much time with in so many geographies that it's an awesome person to know, but it's also an asset to hear him. And there's people that can talk, and they can talk for the sake of talking, but every time I hear our next speaker, he always gives me something new. He has a huge social media following, but it's not because he's out there flashing, it's because he's out there giving wisdom. And he's taught me a lot. We worked together in a tech company, and that's how we met, but over time we remained friends, and the only person I've driven all the way to Guadalajara with on on the same car. We got pulled over so many times, but we never gave him mordida. But he's really more. There's people that we all have gifts, and I think one of his gifts is being able to fairly quickly assess a situation and give you wisdom. And I thought it would be great for you to hear him. If you have been to some of the LAPA meetings, you've met him. Hopefully he has inspired you. And we need to talk about one of our biggest membership industries is real estate. And real estate is what's going to give you legacy. And real estate is what's going to give you longevity with your customer. And so one of the things he's taught me is about the circle of influence that you have around you, and who are those trusted advisors that you can work with that are not going to take your customer, are going to do the best they can for your customer when you don't know how to deal with certain things like mortgages, like how to qualify for loans, like how to find the right real estate for the customer. And so also we're going to talk a little bit hopefully about life and the new year and what is there to expect. So without any further ado, come on up, my friend Damiano Raigoza with us. So what's up, man? Hey man, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, brother.
Yeah.
¿Cómo estás?
Pura vida, man.
Pura vida.
Yeah, so we're both Costa Rican, so Ticos, and he is also Italian. But one of the things that, like I said, it's exciting for me that he's in our first Thirsty Thursdays, and he's a great source. One of the things that we told you on Thirsty Thursdays is we give you ideas, we give you connections. And he's certainly a guy that you got to know, and hopefully we can inspire you to do something that you haven't done. So without any further ado, Damiano, how you been, man?
Outstanding. Here we are, 2022. I'm super excited. This is the first quarter of the year. I hope you and your business, I hope you're excited, have implemented some new systems. If we want to have a better future, a better life, we definitely got to grow, got to expand. Einstein said it best that the problems that we have now, or how did he say it? I want to say it correctly. The thinking that got us the problems now won't be the thinking that will get us out of it. We have to grow, right? So wherever you're at in your business right now, it's so important that you're constantly growing your mindset. It's constantly important that you're growing your systems. You're auditing your business. You're auditing your systems. You're auditing the people that are working for you. You're auditing and checking and making sure that, what you have is the people around you are growing, right? So I hope you're doing that for your business this first quarter. It was so important to do that starting in October of last year, right? But no worries, if you haven't done that, now's the time to get on it. I typically have most people have 12 months in a year, right? I have 15 months in a year. And the way I do that is I start my year in October of the previous year. Those 3 months are my ramp up period. So by the time January 1st hits around, man, I'm implementing new systems, right? So one of the things that I've implemented, a new system, is my new CRM, right? I was with the tech company for a while, and we used HubSpot, and we got pretty good at HubSpot. But because the industry that my wife is in the real estate and loan business, I thought it would be wise to do a lot of research in different CRMs, right? And use a CRM that made sense. So we're using RealVolve. RealVolve is a CRM that's specifically for the real estate industry. And what I like about it are the drip campaigns and what's called the workflows within the CRM. So a CRM is super, super important if you're in real estate or if you're in any business. You need a CRM. And a lot of you that are in real estate, maybe you don't know this, but you can sell your book of business. As a real estate coach, I'm constantly out there talking to real estate agents about, listen, you don't have to have a brokerage to sell your business. But as a real estate agent, the only way that your business is going to have value is if you have a well-maintained CRM. So if I'm getting into the business, Andre, and I want to, learn a little bit more or want to buy a real estate business,
right?
The way I'm going to do that, if you sell real estate and you're saying, hey, you know what, I'm on my way out.
Right.
but I want to buy your book of business, Andre.
Yeah.
So let me take a good look at your CRM. We could see how
Right.
many clients are in there, and then how well it's maintained.
Right.
Are the anniversary dates of in there of the, when they bought the house, when they refinance, when the anniversaries of their birthdays and wedding anniversaries and all that. If all of that is in there,
And not in paper or in memory.
exactly right.
Yeah.
If it's in a
Then it's
system,
value. There's
right?
value, yeah.
And the way we can do that is I say, hey, you know what? I want to buy your book of business.
Okay.
Right. And so what we'll do is you'll introduce me as your partner.
Right.
Right. And then we'll sunset you in the next year.
Okay.
Right. We introduce each other as partners, and then slowly over
It's a
time,
transition
we
period.
fade you away, and so now your book of business is just seeing me.
Wow.
Right. And I'm the one following up with them.
Right.
The CRM is now dripping on them about me.
Absolutely.
So that's one thing that a lot of real estate agents don't
Don't do it.
realize.
They don't do it.
So many people have been in the business and their CRM is in their head. It's an Excel spreadsheet. It's and the thing is about real estate.
Yeah.
It's like someone might say, "Oh yeah, I want to sell my house in 6 months."
Yeah.
And the real estate agent's like, oh, "Okay, yeah, 6 months. I'll follow up with you."
And they don't.
Well,
They forget.
it's not so much that. In 2 months, they're listed with someone else. They drive by that house and there's a for sale sign. I was like, "Oh man, they told me 6 months."
Because they don't have a personal relationship.
Yeah, and then they're not dripping on them. They're not following up.
Right.
They're not asking.
You're
the
not
right
ever
questions.
present on their mind.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's the thing about real estate.
Yeah.
Other industries, maybe taxes, they got a tax person they go to.
Right.
Insurance, they have an insurance person to go to. But in real estate, it's whoever's top of mind.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
It's whoever has a celebrity status, right?
That's
Like,
why people get the bus benches.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Right? You just want to be able to see them. And that's marketing.
Right.
Right? It's
Right.
marketing. You want to be able to, you as a real estate agent, you need to put yourself out there in a target market
Right.
where you have a somewhat celebrity status, and people, when they think of when they want to buy or sell, like, oh, you know what? I see his signs everywhere.
Right.
He must have some credibility.
Absolutely.
Right? So, so I hope you're implementing some systems, some new systems in your business, right? If you're a real estate agent, you definitely need a target market. There's 2 target markets that I say you should do. One is where you live, right? You don't need to be a secret agent. All your neighbors need to know that you sell real estate, right? Everybody on your phone needs to know you sell real estate, so you should be able to just go down your phone and stop on any one of them and call them and say, "Hey, do you know I sell real estate?" If they say no, you're not even touching the people that's in this. So you need to touch the people that are in your cell phone. But a market you should have is where you live and wherever your office is, right? So if you live in Claremont and your office is in Rancho Cucamonga, you should definitely have 2 target markets around the office and around where you live, right?
Speaking about target markets and having 2 markets from where you live, you ventured out to white boy country out in your office. Tell them where your office is at.
I got an office in Newport Beach, right? Being in real estate, it's the same paperwork whether you're doing $1 million deal
right.
or if you're doing, a $250,000 house in San Bernardino. It's the same paperwork, right? What's different? It's the client, right? It's the sophistication, right? Someone in Newport Beach might have a CFO, might have an attorney that you also need to work with, versus someone in San Bernardino that's just a first-time home buyer. You're kind of working with them directly, right? So it's the same paperwork, but the sophistication is a little bit higher. The conversation is a little higher conversation. You maybe have to work with a few more people because maybe their income is a little different. They have a CFO, they have a business, and so you gotta be able to, and then it's a bigger dollar amount. So, but the paperwork is the same. So yes, I ventured into Newport Beach, into the luxury real estate market, and I'm really excited about that. But let me tell you, I grew up in apartments my whole life, never lived in a house. That was my motivation, right? Because I wanted a dog. I used to always bring a dog home. My mom would say, "Hey, you can't have a dog. We're on Section 8. You need to get it out of here." So my motivation to buy a house was to have a dog. So when I graduated high school, I bought my first house in Redlands, California. I bought it for $72,000. My mortgage payment was $615. So I was super excited. I bought that house. It had 2 bedrooms, 1 bath. It was like 800 square feet. Someone died in the property. I didn't care. I just wanted a house. Right? But to get to the one bathroom, you had to go through one of the bedrooms. Right? So it was a house that sat on the market for a while because nobody wanted it. It had shaggy carpet, like this long, calico colors, wooden panels. The house was just ugly, but I didn't care. It's like, I was just amazed that the offer got accepted. It was only $72,000. My payment was affordable. But I bought that first house. I fixed it up myself. A year later, I sold it. I made 50 grand. Bought another house right away, and I fixed that house up too. And I sold it, made another 50 grand. And that's what got me into real estate. It was like, wow, if I could do this with no college education, just like what Luisa was saying earlier, just con ganas, right? Ponta las pilas and go out there and make it happen. Wow, I could do this. And my first month in the business, back in 2003, full time, I made 20 grand my first month. I did 4 refinances, and I'll be more than happy to share with anybody how I did that. It was a simple little script of talking to my friends and family, saying, hey, listen, I just got into the mortgage business. I need your help. You'll help me out, won't you? They said yes. I need to go on 10 training appointments in the next 2 weeks. Will you do me a favor and be one of my training appointments? They said yes. Out of 10 people, 4 of them had a need for refinancing. So that's how I made the 20 grand my first month in the business. And you can use that script in any industry, right? So I help people in the life insurance business. Same thing. Hey, I just got started in life insurance. I'm super excited. I need to go on 10 training appointments in the next 2 weeks. Will you help me out? Be one of my training appointments. If you're in PNC insurance, same thing. I'm just getting started. Hey, listen, I just got started at ABC Insurance. I need to go on 10 training appointments. You do me a favor and just, let me look at your car insurance and see if I can beat it, because I need to do the 10 trainings, right? Same thing. So if you're a manager, or if you own an agency or something like that, it's always important to be recruiting new people. You need fresh blood. You need new blood. You need to find that rabbit. You need to find that one person that's super hungry, that's going to go out there and make it happen. And then you can point to him and see all the veterans in the office, say, hey, look at this guy just in the business and look what he's doing. It's always that hungry person. If you don't have a rabbit in your office, you need to find a rabbit.
But don't go down the rabbit hole, because then that will slow you down. But one of the things that you're still fixing the houses yourself.
Oh, yeah,
you're flipping still.
Yeah, I got a house in Hemet. Oh my God, this house has been the house from hell, though. We thought there was a good spread on it, and there is a good spread on it, but
a lot of work.
A lot of work. They were growing marijuana in the house, and so it's no big deal, right? There's houses that have done that we bought before. But this one in particularly, they were stealing electricity from the
main switch.
The main switch. So we had to run a new wire all the way to the transformer, which was pretty expensive. Come to find out, right when we turned on the electricity, someone just sabotaged the house and snapped up all the electrical wires.
Wow.
So it's just been like one thing right after the other. But here's the thing, I have so much peace in my life.
Yeah.
Right? It doesn't matter. It's like, okay, no worries. What's next? Let's go. Like, I'm a big believer in, listen, don't be an adder to the problems. Be a problem solver, right? So I'm really on the side of solutions. I'm really on the sides of, finding an answer to what needs to be done. So I have no worries. I have no attachments to when things don't go well. There's a beautiful story out there. I don't know if you guys heard it, but there was this Chinese farmer who his horse ran away. And the neighbor said, oh my God, I'm so sorry that your horse ran away. He's all, maybe. And then the next couple of days, the horse comes back, and he comes back with like 5 more horses. And the neighbor's like, oh my God, you're so lucky that, your horse came back with 4 other horses. He goes, maybe, right? And so the kid, his son, was out there trying to tame one of the wild horses, and he got bucked off and his leg got broken. And the neighbor is like, oh man, I'm so sorry that your son broke his leg. And he goes, maybe, right? And then the army came and tried to recruit all the young men to go into the military, and his leg was broken. And they said, hey man, you're so lucky your son broke his leg. He goes, maybe. The point is, it doesn't matter what happens in your life, right? Like, it doesn't matter that this house had all these issues. I don't know that, that they're good or bad. I'm not attached to any of it. But I did get another house, a short sale approved, and I got it approved at a really good rate. It's worth a pretty decent amount. So I don't know if it's a good deal. Maybe. So
and it's true. Like, I think one of the things you and I have in common is we don't believe in luck. We make our own luck.
Oh, most definitely.
And I think
Preparation.
yeah, it's being prepared for that moment, right? And so one of the things that I took away from your recent activity, including in Lapa, is that, by the way, he is a Lapa member, so is his wife, and they've been with us since the beginning. They're part of the board. $95 a year, and as Luisa said, is tax deductible. So
Right.
one of the things you've done is you really made me think about customer first.
Oh.
Most people that are in insurance, in taxes, real estate, in car registration, whatever, multi-servicios, they think of, okay, how am I going to be able to help the people that come in? But they don't focus on the individual and what does that individual need. And that, I think, is a better approach, because you have to be a one-stop shop. You don't have to be master of everything, but you have to have alliances with people. Talk a little bit more about that, because I believe people don't trust enough to be able to fulfill their customers' necessities.
Yeah.
And they end up losing them.
Well, here's the thing. It's the most important thing to understand first and foremost is customer experience
Right.
versus customer service.
Right.
Right? A customer experience is proactive, right? That's you're giving your customer, like, if you go to a McDonald's and you go to maybe the Bel Air Hotel and have dinner, you're gonna have an experience at McDonald's, and you may have a different experience at the Bel Air Hotel.
Right.
So you got to ask yourself, what kind of experience are the people that I'm working with? What kind of experience are they getting? Are they getting a McDonald's experience, or are they getting a fine dining experience? Right. So
Right.
you got to look at your business and say, what kind of experience am I giving these people? Right. I believe everybody should get a fine dining experience.
Right.
Right. Because we're in the service industry. Right. So if you do real estate, you do loans, you do insurance, the only thing that separates you from other businesses or your competition is the experience that you're rendering. That's it, right? Because whether you're doing loans, the money's coming from the same well, right? The money's coming from the same well. If you're doing real estate, it's the same paperwork. If you're doing insurance, it's a few big carriers that where those policies are coming from. So the only thing that separates you is the experience that you're rendering. So you got to know the difference between customer experience and customer service. Customer service, on the other hand, is you're solving a problem, right? One's proactive and the other one's reactive. Customer service is reactive. So if my steak comes and it's not perfect or not the way I wanted it, now I got to provide customer service to be able to make sure that the customer's still happy. So you got a customer experience and you got customer service. So you got to understand that. Now, in business, it's so important that you have a good sphere of influence. Who are you working with, right? And so your customers, because you have the customer in front of you, and because we believe at Lapa that we got to take care of our Latino customer, because they're coming here from, Central America, South America, Mexico. They're migrating to the United States. Why? Because in those countries they have a ceiling of how high they can get. They're capped out most of the time in their pueblos, where they live at, what they do. So even if they have a little business of selling tacos, they're capped out, right? Even if they're out there doing some sort of construction in those countries, they're somewhat capped out. But in the United States, you have the ability to grow however big you want. Right? Exponentially.
Right.
Now, because they're coming here to the United States, unfortunately, there's other people that have taken advantage of them. My mom migrated here from Costa Rica. My dad's Mexican Sicilian, and he worked in picking fruit. My dad was a fruit picker from Kansas, born in Kansas, right? Followed picking fruit. So I know I come from a hard-working migrant family. So it's so important that we take care of ours, right? When I got into the business in real estate, I worked with a Jewish wealthy guy in Beverly Hills, and he told me, he goes, Damiano, you know why us Jewish people are wealthy? Is because we only buy from each other. We do business with each other. So we at Lapa, we want to be able to work with each other. That customer needs, if a customer gets together with me and I'm doing the real estate, what's the chances that I'm huddling up with that person's, life insurance agent or their financial planner or their tax guy? What's the chance of us getting together for dinner and say, hey, let's take care of Juan and Maria?
Right.
It's not happening.
Right. It is.
Right? But at Lapa, we're so big on working together. We're like working with Luisa, working with the different people in the business. So that way the client gets circulated among us. We do the right thing. We help each other grow. But now that client is getting taken care of. So you really got to look at the sphere of influence that you have and make sure that you're partnering up with the people that are around you so that that person is, one, well taken care of, but at the same time, we're supporting our community to get wealthy, to create a legacy, to be able to have generational wealth, right? To teach our children to be able to make and save. So these are some of the important things that we do at Lapa, right? And I'm really excited for Andre for having the vision of, getting back into, the trade industry, right? Because he's the best at it, right? And so this is a great organization. It's still in its infancy. It's going to grow. So if you haven't signed up for Lapa, make sure that you get involved. This is a great sphere of influence of Latino workers, Latino businesses. And so, but yeah, this is what's important about, making sure that the customer is taken care of. And you got to look at your business and ask the question, are my customers getting a great experience? And when something isn't right, are we giving them great customer service? Right? So those are some of the things I think, Andre, that are important right now. It's the beginning of the year.
Right.
And business owners need to take a good look at the systems that they have. Yeah. And, are they implementing anything new? Right. Or is it the same old?
Right.
Right.
And most of the time it's the same old. But I don't think this year allows you to still be in business and do the same old. Because people are not doing the same old. People are confused. People are seeking knowledge. People are seeking wisdom. People are seeking opportunity. So it is a good time to be around in the services industry, I think. Uh-huh. But like you were saying, man, you have to have the technology, you have to have the systems. Going back to the CRM, by the way, next Thursday, I'm thirsty. Next Thursday, we have already confirmed Alex Perez with CRM that works for insurance as well as income tax, called Sentry. But if you don't invest in your technology and you don't put the time, man, this year is going to be hard.
Yeah. And look, at technology is so important. And here, just Zoom alone.
Right.
Zoom alone. I love Zoom. Like Andre and I started working together at a company, and we had partners all around the world. So we had to work with them through Zoom. And that's where I really got the gist of using Zoom in 2017, 18, right? So, but today, with the COVID industry, with the COVID pandemic, and here's the thing about Zoom. If you're in the service industry, if you're in real estate, if you're in loans, if you're in life insurance or financial services, and even a PNC people pretty much stay put. Right. But, people that are in financial services, real estate, loans, you're kind of going to see your clients.
Yeah.
With Zoom, I see client after client after client.
And you don't have to drive.
But
I think that the biggest challenge for business owners is the fact that I've been doing it this way so long. How could I not go show up and press flash? Oh, he's not available because of COVID. Oh man, I gotta wait. And you wait and you wait and you wait. And like Damiano said earlier, you lose the customer.
That's the old school sales guy. Yeah. Right? The old school sales guy is that, I got a client in Whittier. Then I got to go to La Brea. Then I got to go to Santa Ana. And then I'm beat, I did a lot of work and I drove to 3 different clients and, in 3 different cities and it took you all day.
Yeah.
But today you can see those clients back to back to back to back. And I use Calendly, right? I use Calendly to book all my appointments, right? I send them a video ahead of time.
Right.
I get together with my client. And then I send them Google's form survey at the end, right? So I'm getting all this data from this one client, but plus they're seeing the customer experience,
Yeah.
right? You know, I'm sending them a video ahead of time. We're on Zoom. They're getting a form after. I'm telling them thank you. And I'm always asking for referrals. Always asking for referrals. I tell them who else needs to see this,
Right.
right? Because my presentation is pretty. My presentation is a presentation that shocks people. It's a presentation meant to get people off of the fence. My presentation is meant for people that procrastinate to not procrastinate no more. I show people in my presentation where they're at, and it scares the hell out of them. They're like, man, Damiano, no one's ever showed me this. And you sell real estate? Well, I do a little bit more than that. We do the real estate, we do the loan, we do the living trust, we do the life insurance, we do the ADT, we do the solar. So our business model supports, you know, all these different industries, but it helps the one person. Right. So I do want to talk a little bit about real estate, Andre.
Yeah.
Right now, it's important that if you or anybody you know in California and they are on a deferment program, right? So California has issued that there's going to be some support with that. So there's going to be a lot of new information coming out on that to kind of waive. I'm not sure exactly what the specifics are, but if anybody is on a deferment on their mortgage, there is support coming out with that. You know, the governor for California, Newsom, had just announced some stuff today. But so look into that. Google that if you are in a deferment, there is some relief for that. There is some support with that. I know there were some people that thought they were going to lose their house because they haven't been making their payments, but rest assured that there is some support coming for that. Okay. Second, right now in California, there's a big push, and this might happen throughout the state of California, because in some of these metropolitan areas like LA, there's nowhere else to grow. So in LA County alone, in some parts of LA County, where it was called a R1, which means you could only put one residential unit on a lot, is now R2, R3, R4, which means you can do up to 4 units on a single lot, because there's nowhere to build in LA no more. So you can only build up now, right? So if you have a property that has just a house, like, you can convert the garage now into an apartment.
Right.
It's so important for your retirement to look into rental income, right? Or Airbnb income, right? So these are things important that you got to kind of look at your living situation and say, hey, can I convert the garage? Do I have enough space to add a second unit? Or maybe, 2 units, a second unit plus a one on top. So this is something that's important for you to look at for your future. It's like what's called ADU, an additional dwelling unit.
Right.
So I have a really good friend named Emiliano Ochoa, who's an architect. We've been friends since we were 12. This guy has built some of the most awesome houses in Bel Air and Beverly Hills. But that's my guy. That's my designer. That's my architect that helps me with all my plans. I got an amazing team that help us build these ADUs. So we're also in the ADU business, but I want you to just kind of look at your home and see, okay, is there something I can do at my house? Because I want you to start thinking about your retirement. I want you to start thinking about, what is your retirement going to look at? If you're in your 30s, you need to look at it right now. If you're in your 20s, you definitely need to look at your retirement. Like, plan now. Plan now. So real estate, it's just important. That's another thing that I want to share with you is ADUs, additional dwelling units. Look at your house and see exactly how you can maximize its value. Okay. What else? Real estate. I would say, let's talk about renting versus buying. Okay. Renting has its place. I'm not going to knock the renter, but if you're a renter, I think you should still own a house. Okay, you should still own a house. And let me tell you how to buy 4 houses on your credit. Okay, there's no real estate agent going to teach you this, but I'm going to teach you guys this right now. The 3 of you that are watching right now. Okay, check this out. When you buy a house, you first want to buy units. You want to buy up to 4plex. Okay, buy a 4plex first. Why is that important? I'll tell you why. You buy the 4plex, the 3 rents that you're collecting are going to support you to be able to qualify to buy that 4 units, the rents that you're collecting. You live there for 2 years, and then you move into a 2-bedroom, 1-bath house. Why? The bank sees that moving up because you went from 4 units to a single family residence. 2 bedroom, 1 bath. Why is that important? Because 2 years from then, you're going to buy a 3 bedroom, 2 bath. You're going to move up. Still put the minimum down payment. And then 2 more years from there, you're going to buy a 4 bedroom, 2 bath house. So in 6 years, you're going to have a 4 unit, a 2 bedroom, 1 bath, a 3 bedroom, 2 bath, and a 4 bedroom, 2 bath. In 6 years. You're going to have all of that putting the minimum down, but you got to start with the units. Because if you buy the 3 bedroom, 2 bath house first, and then you try to buy the units, you're going to need to put 20% down. And most people don't have 20% down for, $800,000 or $1 million 4 units, once they buy the 3 bedroom, 2 bath house. Now, the bank sees that, no, now that's an investment. So now you got to put the 20% down. So listen to me very closely. If you have children that are 18 up to 25, their first thing that they should buy are units. Okay? If you have never bought, and maybe even you have kids, bite the bullet and buy units first, right? I know some wives might be like, no, I don't want to deal with that.
They want the dream house now.
I want the dream house now. But wait 6 years and you'll get the dream house, and it's going to be well worth it because you're going to have all these rental properties that are going to supplement, right, your 401k. Maybe if you have some life insurance that has some cash value that you're going to pull out for retirement. Real estate will supplement all that. Plus, it's going to gain equity, and your renters are going to pay down the mortgage. Yeah. Okay. One more thing.
Yes, sir.
If you want to save, if you have a 30-year fixed, and you want to bring that down to about 20 years, you want to save without having to refinance, just send one more extra mortgage payment a year. Just one more extra payment a year is going to bring down from like 30 years to like 22 years, right? So you want to be able to do that. So if you're taking notes, right? The first thing we went over is buy units, 2 bedroom, 3 bedroom, then the 4 bedroom in 6 years, okay? ADUs, look at your property, see how you can maximize it with ADU. If you want to save on your mortgage, just pay one extra mortgage payment a year and you're going to save a lot of money, okay? And then lastly, I think I'll share with you this is that if you want to buy now, right? Maybe you're considering like, oh my God, do I buy now? Is the market gonna crash, right?
The interest rates are gonna go up.
Are they, interest rates are gonna go up. So listen, don't ever have a fear of buying ever if you're gonna live in the house. If you have the pattern of moving every 7 to 10 years, like most people, it doesn't matter if you buy now or, if you think the market's gonna crash. No, just buy the house now. You're going to live in it to 7 to 10 years anyways. If you like the community, you like the schools, you like the house, just buy it now, right? Interest rates are pretty low still. A normal interest rate, Andre, is about 7%.
Wow. Yeah.
That's a normal interest rate, 6-7%. So anything under 6% is a good interest rate still. But people are, so used to now 2%, 3%, that you're like, oh my God, 4 or 5 is high. No, it's not high. Get into that house right now and support you and your family. So don't wait for the market to crash because
we'll always be waiting.
People have been waiting for that for 5 or 6 years now, and then the market's just doubled and tripled and quadrupled. So
yeah. Well, thank you, Damiano. Thank you for being here. Happy New Year. And hopefully we will stay COVID safe this way, but with the Thirsty Thursdays. But before we leave, and in order to be able to leave on time, we have 2 minutes. I want to announce a couple things. One is we're doing the Community Angel Awards. As you've heard from our guests today, it's important to have a good relationship with good professionals. That's what we do. And we want to highlight those people by having Community Angel Awards. And we will be sending out a form that you can just send us and nominate yourself if you want to. If you're that proud of your business, nominate yourself. If you are proud of other people that you do business with, nominate them. And we're going to have 10 awards. They're simple. Who is the insurance agency to be following? Who is the tax agency to be following? Who's the real estate agency to be following? What car registration service does it better than others? Technology. Who's your tax partner in technology, for example? Or your in the tax business, who's your technology partner? CRM. Who's the best CRM out there? Immigration lawyer. Immigration agency services. community advocate who really works with the community. Next week, we have Rocio, who's part of LAPA. She does solar, but she also does real estate. But what she does best is she helps kids. She helps kids in Tijuana that are needy and does it on a consistent basis, and is not out there looking to create a nonprofit. She's just doing it herself. That kind of thing. That's the kind of people we want to highlight on our Community Angel Awards. And nominate people. Nominate people that you know. We want to know more people. We want to highlight those people that we all should be working with. The other thing is multi-services. Who has the best multi-services operation? Well, you know, they manage those services well with each other. And so, you know, just nominate people. We're going to be sending some announcements on that. And finally, don't forget that, you know, probate court is something that is real. If you need to do living trust, become a member. We can help you with that. And when you're looking for registration services, look for registration services that keep it simple. There are some that have been around for such a long time that their systems are legacy systems and they're antiquated, and the one that loses is you. If you already have a registration services and your company has been around for a long time and has not changed their systems, give us a call. We can help you save money and put money in your pocket, because you might be charged. If you're charged on a monthly basis and you cannot see what's happening on a daily basis and it's not transparent enough, you might be losing money. There is a lot of registration services out there, and there is a lot of registration services providers, but there are some better than others. Reach out to us. We would love to do a free evaluation for you and help you with that. Technology is cheap now, and so use it to your biggest advantage. And if you don't know how, that's what LAPA is here for. So I want to thank everybody. In order to be able to end on time, we went to 2:01. Thank you to all of you that stayed with us longer, and we look forward to seeing you Thursdays next week. Here, same location, Cielo y Más. Thank you to Anthony Flores, a LAPA member that is also an insurance agent, and he's the proprietor of this place that we are in. And he's ready for franchises because he's been doing tremendously well without really having advertised the place as much as others, and during COVID. So we want to thank Anthony for letting us use this space, and we want to thank our guests today, and some of our silence guests. Miguel is over there. Hi, Miguelito. And then Damiano and Tyler and Luisa, and thank you all. Thank you, and we'll see you next week on Thursday. There will be a breakdown of what happened today for those of you that didn't tune in with us, and for those of you that stayed all the way through. It's 2 hours, but we gave you a lot of info, and so hopefully it'll be well worth the value for you. Thank you very much. Have a good day. See you soon.